In the shadow of a colossal library, where the air was thick with the scent of old paper and wisdom, lived a forgotten guardian. His name was Elias. He was not a man, but a spirit born from the very first book ever read. He had witnessed centuries, seen readers come and go, watched as some books disappeared and new ones appeared. But with each passing year, the number of readers dwindled. The library hall was almost always empty. One day, during the quietest hour when even dust motes didn't stir in the sunbeams, a girl named Lena entered the library through its massive windows. Her eyes were full of curiosity, and in her hands she held an old, worn diary. She walked to the most distant shelf, where books that hadn't been touched for decades stood. Elias, who was usually invisible, felt her presence. He felt her desire to find something that had been lost within these walls. Lena opened her diary and began to write. She wrote about her grandfather, who had once worked in this very library, and had left her this diary, telling her it held the key to the greatest treasure he had ever seen. Elias, watching her, understood that he was that treasure. He was the guardian not just of the books, but of the stories within them. He wanted to help the girl, but he didn't know how. His voice was just a whisper that only the most sensitive could hear. Then Elias decided to reveal himself. He began to gather dust and sunlight, creating a sort of draft. This current of air started to fly around the library, guiding Lena to different books. Each book it pointed to was connected to her grandfather's story. One was about an old sailor, another about distant stars, and a third about lost cities. Each time Lena opened a new book, she felt she was getting closer to her grandfather. She realized that he wanted her not just to find the treasure, but to fall in love with the stories that the books held. He wanted her to discover a whole new world for herself. When Lena finished the last book, she closed it with a smile. She turned around and saw Elias standing before her, glowing with all the colors of the rainbow. "You have found the treasure," he whispered. "It is the stories you have uncovered." From that day on, Lena became a regular visitor to the library. She no longer came for a treasure, but to read. And Elias, who was once a forgotten spirit, found a new friend. Together, they became the keepers of stories, waiting for someone else to come and discover a world for themselves.